Today's flow is all about our hips. Whether you sit down quite a bit, if you have an office job, or if you're walking up and about quite a lot and you're active, we use our hips for so much. And it's really important to strengthen the key muscles and stretch them out as well to keep that mobility in our really important hips. So we're going to get started straight into it. Let's make our way to a child's pose. So take your knees nice and wide, bring your toes together, draw your hips down towards your heels and then start to walk the hands out far, far forward. Let your forehead soften down towards the mat, or you can use a brick or a cushion to bring the floor a little closer. And just allow your body to start to soften here into this pose. Notice your breath moving in and out of the body. And with each exhale, just allowing yourself to release, letting the belly soften. Feeling that connection of yourself on the floor. The next breath in, take it deep into the back body. Feel the ribs on the back of your body expand. Open the mouth, exhale and let it go. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Start to lift up. So we're rolling up to an all fours position. Draw the knees slightly further in, toes out, so that their knees and the feet are aligned. And then as you inhale, we're going to start to drop the belly and chest, lift the chin and the tailbone. So bending through the back of the body. And as you exhale, start to tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Rounding through the back of the body. Do 2 more like that. Inhale to lower. Exhale to round. Final one, stretch out through the front of the body, lift the gaze. And exhale, chin towards chest. Press your fingers down into the mat. Feel that space between your shoulder blades. Coming back to that neutral spine position, tuck the toes, engage through the belly and start to lift the knees and the hips up towards the sky. Keep a nice bend in the knees and start to pedal out through one heel and then the other. Just waking the body up into a downward facing dog. Do a few nods of the head, yes. Shakes of the head, no. And then really press your fingertips into the mat and feel your shoulders travel towards the back of the mat. Pressing down through the fingers to lift up through the shoulders and the hips. Keep that nice bend in the knees. Take a gentle sway through one hip and then the other. Inhale, slide forward to a plank pose. Drop the knees and then drop the chest and chin. Keep your elbows moving back behind you, close to the body. Untuck the toes, slide forward onto the belly, low cobra. So press the tops of your feet into the mat and lift your chest, low. Exhale, we're going to tuck through the toes, come back to all fours and then lift the hips into downward facing dog. Thank you. This time drop the knees, come to an all fours position. We're going to lift the right sole of the foot to the sky and then start to circle out through the hips, through this knee. So draw the knee towards the elbow and then out to the side, kind of like you're a dog wheeling up the side of a lamppost. Inhale forward, exhale, open that knee out. So just exploring the circles through this knee. Exploring the mobility in the hip. How does this feel today? And then take a few in the other direction. So lift the heel up and open the knee out. 2 more like that. It doesn't matter how big or small your circles are today. Next time the knee comes out to the side, extend the foot as far as it will go and then pop the sole of the foot down towards the outside of your mat. I'll just shuffle here so you can see me. So pop the sole of your foot down. This right leg is extended out towards the side. Tuck through the left toes. And then inhale, we're going to move slightly forward into the fingertips. And exhale, sit the hips back. Feel that stretch through the inner thigh on the right side. Through the back of the legs. Inhale, forward. Exhale, sit back. Final one, mobility through the wrists here. Inhale, forward. Exhale, press into the outer edge of the right foot, sit back. And then inhale, come forward, take that right knee in, tuck the toes and lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, lift your heels. And then as you exhale, let the heels be heavy. Drop them down towards the mat. Drop both knees. And then we'll take that on the left. So the left sole of the foot comes up to the sky. Keep the knee bent. And then start to draw left knee towards left elbow and out to the side. So exploring the mobility of the hip on the left-hand side. Keep your circles nice and slow. See how it feels to move on the other side. And then switch the direction. So coming out to the side and then towards the knee. Notice the engagement through the sides of the body, through the belly. Keep your body strong. One more. Inhale, up. And then as you exhale, extend the left leg all the way out to the left-hand side. And see if you can pop the whole sole of the foot on the mat. Tuck through the right toes. Inhale, coming forward into the fingertips. Exhale, sit the hips back to the heel. Two more. Keep flowing with your breath. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Press into the outer edge of the left foot. Inhale, into the fingertips. Exhale, back with the hips. Inhale, come forward. Move back to lift the hips. Find our downward facing dog. Taking out any final wiggles. Lifting one heel, then the other, moving through the hips, nodding the head, shaking the head. And then let's come to find stillness. So again, pressing through the fingertips. Shoulders and hips moving up and back. Heavy through the crown of the head and the heels. Breathe into the belly. Then take your gaze towards your thumbs. We'll start to walk or take a big step up to the top of the mat. One foot, then the other. Inhale finds a halfway lift. Exhale, fold down, heavy through the crown of the head. Press through the feet, reach your fingers all the way to the sky. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center. We'll start to flow all the way down. So micro bend through the knees, belly toward thighs. Bend your knees as much as you need to get your fingers on the floor. Inhale to find length, create space, lift the chest up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet all the way to the back of the mat, plank pose. One nice line between your heels, hips and shoulders. Either moving through knees, chest and chin, or keep your knees lifted and lower your whole body down to the mat. Take it nice and slow. Untuck the toes, lift through the chest, this time pressing into the hands to find maybe a little more space through the front of the body. Tuck the toes, pressing into the feet to lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale here, exhale here. This time in your down dog, take your feet nice and wide as the mat. Toes slightly in, heels slightly pointing, toes slightly out, heels pointing slightly in towards one another. And the heels can be lifted here, that's absolutely fine. We're going to start to move into a squat position here. So inhale, come forward towards that plank, so lowering the hips down. As we exhale, sink the hips towards the heels. Inhale, come forward, plank. Exhale, bend the knees, hips to heels. Press the fingertips down. One more. Inhale, forward, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees, hips to heels. Maybe take your gaze back behind you. Inhale comes forward. We'll take the feet back into that downward facing dog. Gaze between the thumbs. Walk or a big step, top of the mat. One foot, then the other. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Press down through the feet to rise up with the hands. Lift up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Take a breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. We'll fold forward from the hips. Exhale, reach the hands down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold, plant the hands. Step all the way back, plank pose. Drop the hips slightly, find that alignment, shoulders, hips, heels. Moving through knees, chest, chin, or knees lifted, make your way towards belly to the mat. Untuck the toes, slide belly down, lift chest, cobra pose. Breathe into the chest space. And exhale, finds downward facing dog, hips lift up and back. We're going to find that wide squat position again. So toes slightly out, heels slightly in, feet nice and wide as the mat. Inhale comes forward to a plank pose. Exhale, sinks the hips back, bend the knees. Feel that stretch out through the back of the body. Two more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Final round. Inhale forward, gaze forward. Exhale, move the hips, shoulders back, and then start to walk the hands back. Maybe the heels find the floor, maybe they stay lifted, but your hips are sinking down. We find a Malasana squat. So staying just as you are, the hips are sinking down. Maybe your fingertips are still finding the floor or coming up to find the chest. Hands towards heart center, perhaps the elbows here, compress against the inner side of the knees. Think about the hips sinking and the chest lifting. Strong and steady. Breathe here. Into the belly and out through the mouth. For 2. And for 1. Release the hands down, sink the hips, so lift the hips high, sink the head. Find a wide-legged ragdoll pose, so your feet are still nice and wide. You grab a hold of opposite elbows and just let the body fall down towards the ground. Maybe take a gentle rock from side to side, release out through the hips, through the shoulders. And then we start to walk the hands forward, find our downward facing dog. Inhale, slide forward to plank pose. Move through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga with the knees lifted. Inhale, untuck the toes, belly to mat, chest lifts, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips to heels, active child's pose. Drop the head down. Breathe into the back of the body. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Let it go. Keep toes tucked. Spread fingers wide. Engage through the belly. Lift the hips high. Downward facing dog. Start to lift the right leg. Find a 3-legged dog. And then bend that top knee and start to open out through the right hip. So think about stacking the right hip on top of the left. Option to do this all with the left knee down, or keep it lifted in your down dog. Press into the fingers. Steady through the touch points with the earth. And from here, we'll start to do that knee circle, just like we did, one in each direction, nice and slow. So right knee comes towards right elbow, and then circles out to the side. Switch the direction so right knee comes back up to the sky and then towards the right elbow. This time take your whole body forward, so shoulders towards wrists, and then pop that foot down towards the outside of the right hand. We're set up for lizard pose here. Take the weight into your left fingers. We'll find a low twist first, so right fingertips reach to the sky, lift up, look up. And then exhale, plant the hand down. Release through the left knee. Untuck the back toes and allow the hips to soften here. This is a strong stretch into the hips. But see if we can find some softness. So release through the shoulders, release through the back of the head. Steady with the breath here. Lifting back up through the shoulders, tucking back through the left toes, we'll start to send the hips back toward the heels. Starting to lift the left toes up. Feel that stretch through the back of the body, right hamstring, heavy through the head. And then release the right toes down, lift up through the left knee and swing that foot back to your plank pose. Let's find downward facing dog. Inhale, lifts the left leg high to the sky. Bend the left knee and start to open out through the hip. So again, thinking about stacking that left hip on top of the right. Again, option to do all of this with the right knee down, or keep it lifted in your down dog. We'll come to find those circles. Left knee moving towards the left elbow and then out to the side. Nice, slow, big circles, exploring the movement of the hip. And then take another circle in the opposite direction. So left knee coming up to the sky and then towards the left elbow. As it travels forward, start to take your hips and shoulders forward and pop the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Weight comes into the right fingers as you start to twist your body towards the left knee, lift the left fingertips high. One breath here, squeeze the inner thighs together. And then exhale, both hands come down, drop the right knee, untuck the toes. And see if we can find that softness, that passiveness here. So releasing through the hips, the shoulders, the jaw. Send your breath where it needs to go here. Where are you feeling this stretch? Know that it will come and go. These feelings won't stay forever. They're just passing through. Stay with your breath. One more round. And then start to lift back up into the shoulders, tuck the back toes and sink the hips back in space, lifting up the left toe. Maybe come onto fingertips and start to drop the head. Send your breath into the back of the body. Expand through the rib cage. And then exhale, plant the left toes, tuck through the right knee and swing back to a plank pose. Optional final vinyasa or make your way to downward facing dog. Either moving down, inhale, lifting up through cobra. Exhale, find your downward facing dog. Drop the knees, take the toes together. Let's find a soft child's pose. So releasing the forearms onto the mat, releasing the forehead down. Option here to take your hands all the way back behind you, releasing through the shoulders. Allow your body to start to soften here. Feeling that connection again with the earth. And that connection of the movement of your body with the rhythm of your breath. However subtle that may be here. Start to slide forward onto the belly. So reach your hands a little further forward. We're coming onto the belly, but with the elbows underneath the shoulders, so finding a Sphinx pose. If this feels a little bit pinchy on the lower back, just explore with the distance of their feet, so maybe bring them a little wider. And then again, let's start to explore some activeness in this pose. So pressing into the fingertips, drawing the chest forward, opening up through the chest space. And then release the grip of the fingertips, soften through the shoulders and release the head. Let's find some passiveness here. Really nice. Bring the feet back together. Release through the hands and then roll over onto the back. Take your arms nice and wide. Bring your knees up, almost like you're sitting on a chair. And then exhale, knees come over to the left hand side. Let's take a twist. Option to pop the left hand on top of the right knee or cross the right knee over the left. Releasing out through this spinal twist. Softening through the breath and perhaps closing down the eyes. Uncross the legs or just take the legs straight back up to center. And then exhale over to the other side. Again, seeing how it feels maybe to add that little extra weight with the right hand or crossing the left knee over the right. Option here to close down the eyes, soften the jaw. And notice if you can make your exhales just as long as your inhales. And then start to unravel the legs, bring them back to center. Give everything a squeeze in. Maybe rocking from side to side, massaging out the back. Body onto the earth. Squeeze everything in. And then as you exhale, release everything out. Come to your final resting pose. Releasing the legs along the mat, toes fall out to the side. Soften through the fingers. There's an option here to bring the soles of the feet together. Just for a final stretch out through the inner thigh, if that feels comfortable in your body. Come to close the eyes. And for the next few moments, see if you can find some stillness. Whether that's in your body or in your mind. Start to deepen your breath and find some movement back in the fingers, the toes, maybe stretching the legs all the way out and reaching the fingers up and overhead. Full body stretch before drawing the knees in towards the chest and giving yourself a little hug. Keeping the eyes closed down or a soft focus with the gaze, make your way up to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. Bring your hands somewhere onto your body, perhaps on the knees, perhaps at the heart space. And take a final round of breath to close the practice. Inhaling through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale, let it go. Namaste.